Christmas card using some Spellbinders dies. So I'll just show you which ones I've put out. Now I may or may not use all of these. I've got a specific idea in my mind, but it may obviously change as we go along. But the first one I've got is this Build a Wreath die. And I'm not going to use this to make a wreath. I'm actually going to use these little pieces here to use as the actual kind of branches, or leaf part rather. And then I've got this piece here which is from cherry blossoms, but I'm just going to use the branch part as my branch. So that's I've got. Now I've got these out, but I think I'm probably not going to end up using these. These are my mix and match ornaments, which are basically my little baubles, but I think I may not end up using these, but I've left them just in case I change my mind. Then I've got my expandable pattern here, which is the Fancy Lattice, and I think that's a really gorgeous one, so I'm going to be using that. And then I've got these two A2 curved matting basics, and that's A and B, and again I'm not sure which of these I'll be needing. It's to create an aperture, so I'll need one of those for that. And then I've also put this by Ornamental Tags 2, and again I may or may not use this. It's just, it may be that it works or not, so we'll come to that if I need it. So those are the dies anyway. And then for the paper, I wanted to go for a real cream and gold theme, so creams and whites and golds. So I've got my gold, it's like a textured kind of gold card, which is really, really nice, like a linen almost. Then I've got a creamy kind of buttermilk cream, then a real sort of milky cream, and then this one is almost white. I would call this milk, and then this is kind of in between. So I've got sort of shades of cream to white with a gold, so I think that will work. And then I've got, if I pop it on here, acetate. That's a snowfall acetate, but you could use clear, perfectly fine, and I may end up using clear, but at the moment I've got the snowfall acetate out, and I think that will look really effective. So that's what I've got at the moment. So now we need to get on making the base of the card itself. So what I want to do is the base of the card, I think I'm going to do in this sort of milk colour. So I'm going to get my scoreboard here. I'm just going to mark the halfway point by folding just up the top here to get the halfway point, and then I'll get my scoreboard and score it. So that's my card base, and I'm going to be doing a landscape card, so we're going to have it that direction. And then I need another piece of this card, and I want to cut that in half so it's exactly the same size as the one under. So we've got our layer, and then I want to do the same, but it doesn't need to be quite as big, for my acetate, so it can be used to slightly smaller. It's a slightly smaller size than the actual A5 card, and the reason is it's just I don't want the edges sticking out basically. Now this piece I want to create an aperture in it. Oh, I need the other half as well, so just check, I need both halves. Yes, so this piece is very slightly smaller, so I'm going to use that for my die cut for my lattice. This piece I'm going to create my aperture in. So this is where my excuse me, A2 dies come into play, and I think we'll start looking with this one first, which is, whoops, Matting Basics B. Okay, pretty good I think. Let's just check that this one isn't slightly bigger, because I want the biggest one that we've got. Yeah, that one's bigger, so we're going to go to A2 Matting Basics A. Let's just move my card base out of the way. So I want this centralised. So, and I'll probably take the corners off the other piece of card in due course, but at the moment I just want to place this down, and I'm just going to stick that in position. Piece of card. Now I said I wanted it the same size, but actually that's not strictly true. It needs to be slightly smaller, but at the moment I'm taking my fancy lattice and I'm just going to pop that in the middle, because the only part that's going to show is where this gap is here. So we can cut it up afterwards, it's not a big deal. So let's take our fancy lattice and pop that in the centre like so. And again, just pop this down with a bit of tape. So I'm going to take my cutting mat, pop that on the bottom and place that on there, and then I'm going to take the other piece and pop that on there like so, and then I'm going to put my base plate on top and then pop this through my machine. So let's just grab that over and that one over. So that's got a gorgeous edge to it, so we'll keep that for something else, because obviously what we're wanting is the outside edge on this one, but that's going to make a really nice mat for something, so we'll keep that for definite. Probably one of my little stamps would be very nice on there, and then we'll just gently pull the sticky tape off. And I have to say I'm not very pleased with this tape, it's gone a bit horrible in the heat, so we may end up turning this up the other way. Actually I quite like it the other way up anyway. So we've got our aperture for our card, so we'll pop that over with our actual card now. And then we've got this little fella, so I'm going to put my mat back so that when I bonk these pieces out it falls onto something. Okay, now it's less important on this one about the actual edge piece where the sticky is, because, oh look at that, came out beautifully. Didn't even do anything, it just popped out. And what you can see is this isn't a cutting, it doesn't cut the edges out, it leaves that so you could decide then to line this up again and go again if you had a big piece, but I actually don't need it because this is just going behind here. Okay, so I ran that through again, I just added it through on the end here because it just wasn't quite long enough, so I thought, right, it's simpler just to put it through again. So I just popped that through and now it fits perfectly. So all I need to do is cut around the edge a little bit with my scissors just to get some of the excess off, because it's just a tiny bit too big now on this part. And then we can stick it in position. Make sure we get it on right. Still not quite right. Let's take the bottom off a little bit more. There we go. Perfect. So now we're just going to stick that down using just a little bit of tape, and I've just got some double-sided tape here that'll do the trick just fine. I don't need to use the double-sided part of it, I just stick it down like tape, sticky tape, you know. Put that on there. Making sure it's nice and firm. Oops, that didn't go. And then across the top. Like so. And that's our I didn't think about the fact that it needs to be straight, so it's not quite straight. Let's just lift that up a bit and pop this in position properly this time. There we go, that's better. Now it's actually straight lines in there, much better. Okay, so that's that in position. stickiness from that double-sided tape that was on there. That's it. Not that it really matters because that particular corner is actually going to get covered anyway, so it's not such a big deal. Okay, so then we need to put our acetate on behind that. So we'll just grab our acetate and that pops down in position behind there. And that's just going to stick down and be ready for when we do our shaker, because we're going to put a shaker card in this, so it's going to look really cool. So that's that bit done. So now we need to cut this piece, so it's just going to sit behind there nicely. So that should sit there in the middle. And that's, as you can see, that's looking really good, I think. So let's stick this piece down. So we'll just get my Cosmic Shimmer glue and pop that in position, kind of central. Like so. And then just double check. Yep, that looks good. Put a nice border of our double-sided tape, nice thick tape. And I'm just thinking actually, okay, so it's inside. If we do it on this gold, because we don't want it so wide that it's kind of crazy and you lose all the glittery bits down the end. So I'm going to need to get some more tape. So I've run out. I need to make sure it's nicely snug so that there's no gaps. Okay, so I've got some new tape, which is cool. And then we're going to carry on around this corner here. This bit only went to there, that's what I thought. Alright, so we need to make sure it's nice and snug because you don't want any gaps, because otherwise your glitter or whatever you put in is going to leak and you don't want that. Okay, and then snug up to this edge here. Go. Perfect. Sit on top like so to create just a thin shaker card. So let's just peel off. The next thing you want to do is peel off your tape, so that, because if you do this after you've put your glitter in, it's bound to ping everywhere. Want that. Making sure it's nicely stuck down, obviously. And there we go. So you can see there's no little gaps anywhere. It's all snug as a bug in there. Now you could do it higher if you wanted to. You could put a second layer. I think I'm happy with that amount. So now let's have a look. I've got these lovely gold beads, like little bullion beads, so I thought I'd use those. Just hoping this is going to be thick enough. Okay. Just spread them out a bit so that when you put your layer on, it doesn't get in the way. So make sure it's the right way up. Make sure I want my sticky bit that I had up the top, and then making sure it's all lined up. And push it down nice and firmly. Making sure all of it is stuck. And then check you've got no leaks. And now it's not showing as well on the camera as it is in life, but you can hear it. There you go. So it's all sitting in there perfectly, so I'm really pleased with that. It looks fun, it's a bit different, it just adds that little extra dimension. So now we need to start on the actual decoration of our card. So we're going to start putting our, it's going to be like a Christmas tree bough with all the branches and some decoration on it, so we're going to get on to that bit next. Okay, so I've been busy cutting out, as you can see, and I've cut a load of the holly leaves, which I cut from this Spellbinders Build a Wreath, and I used all the kind of loose pieces of leaf there, or I guess they could be sort of fir or holly or whatever you wanted them to be, the kind of not too specific. I also cut out the bow. Now I embossed some of them and some of them I didn't emboss because they'll go behind, so that wasn't so important. I cut the bow out in a red glitter, but I also then cut it out in this gold glitter, gold textured cardstock, because I wasn't sure that the red wouldn't be too jarring against this much more subtle kind of card colouring. I then cut out the branch, which I'm going to use for putting my leaves, as for want of a better word, across it, and this came from cherry blossoms. And then I cut out this ornament from Mix and Match Ornaments, and I just cut out using the outside edge here to cut a solid piece. Then I used just a normal circle die from just, you know, standard set of the Spellbinders circle dies, and I found one that fitted in there nicely, and I cut that out and then stamped Merry Christmas. And I've attached just 2 at the moment, little chain loops, which I shall probably cut some more out. However, I really liked the little Christmas tree centre, which you can see there, so I cut it out on its own. It doesn't cut the edge out, because it's obviously, if you put it in the centre of the bauble and then it cut out the edge completely round the edge, you get 2 pieces, so it just cuts like the aperture. So I then took a circle die again, cut round the edge. I also at the same time cut a piece of the gold and then glued the 2 together, and I'm just going to use that probably on the inside to make like a little sort of decoration on the inside of the card. So that's what I've been doing. Oh, and then I've also got, I had these in my little box of cut stuff already cut, and that's actually what inspired me to use this gold glitter, because I found these and thought, oh, it's such pretty and it would go really well with our card. And these were actually cut using big dies, but they're just a swirl, so we may or may not use those, but we will see. So that's what we've got there at the moment, so that's where we've got to. And I've also cut out 2 layers, one in this gold textured cardstock and one in the cream cardstock of our card base, and I'm actually just going to do this right now before we start working on the outside, and it's just to go on the inside. This will, one, make it just look a bit more attractive, but also the back with all this on the front is going to be a lot lighter, so if we're not careful the card will topple over, and we don't want that to happen. So I'm just going to get my adhesive and stick these 2 pieces down like so. I think that looks really pretty, and it's very sparkly, and the sparkle's really smooth, it doesn't come off on your fingers at all. This glitter cardstock's really good. I don't know what it is, I'm afraid. There was a note on the back, but I now can't read it because I've chopped into it, so I didn't realise in time. Okay. So then that gives a bit of strength to the back, plus, as I say, when you open it, it just looks a little bit more appealing. So now we're going to start working on the front. Okay, so I fiddled around for a bit. It took a little bit of while. I decided I would actually try and put these into position, because trying to do it as you went along just wasn't working. And I ended up not using the cream ones. I haven't stuck these down yet, so I'm going to take my glue gel now and start sticking these down in position. And I also need to think about my little baubles here and see if I'm going to be putting those on and how I'm going to do that, because obviously I need to put them on using the hoop to hang them off the actual tree branch itself, so I'm just thinking about that. But I think I will first of all stick these down and then I'll worry about that afterwards. Actually no, I think I need to put the holes in, so let's have a little look and see. Where these could go. Oops. Okay, so what I need to do is pierce a hole in the twigs or branches of where I'm going to be hanging these ones off. So as I stick them down, I've just got to be careful and remember to do that so that then I can actually pop it through. Not only that, not only pierce a hole, but actually put the loop through before we stick it down, because otherwise they'll start moving around all over the place. So I'm going to just start sticking down the ones that aren't going to be affected, hopefully, which isn't very many. Those two there. And then so I'm trying to give it some dimension as I'm sticking down. I can't show that to you at the moment, up moving everything. Okay, so I think now already we're at, oh no, there's another little piece that's not going to be affected. So I'm just trying to stick down anything that I can. We'll do those two now, I've moved them. So the bottom one is the one that's going to have the hole in it, because that's going to be easier then to hide. I don't really want to move this too much. So it's going to be about halfway along. So I'm just going to take my piercing tool in it and then get a ring. And then you just get your two pairs of pliers or your fingers, whichever, and then you just put your tweezers, your pliers each side, and then just twist it slightly open. And then we're going to pop it through the hole, like so. And then again, we're just going to now twist it closed. You don't want to fiddle around too much, because otherwise it will start interfering with the ring itself and it will come apart, you know, it'll get loose. And so we're going to do the same on this one. trying to get really close for you, but I haven't got a lot of space as I get closer. So then just twist it apart. Whoops, I can't do it because I'm... Hang on, let's try and do it like this so you can see. So you just twist it apart. It's focusing behind, but anyway, and then we'll just pop that little gem on, and then we'll take our leaf that's got the other ring on it and we'll pop the ring through as well, and then we'll close. Now you could make it longer, you could make it, you know, you could put more rings on. On this one I only want it like so. So now we're going to put our adhesive on the back, and we want a reasonable amount because we need our rings to stay up in the air. Now we've got another to go over the top, so hopefully that will disguise any glue that's coming out, but it's so glittery anyway, it's pretty... Whoops. What we don't want to happen is our ring to get too caught up. Okay, so and then we're going to put our glue gel on the next piece. And pop that over the top just slightly to one side, and that's our first ring done. Yay! Okay, so I'm going to carry on putting these pieces on and I will show you when they're done. Okay, and the last piece to stick on is this one here. So that's all of the branches done. I'll just show you. They'll move about. I need to be a little bit careful because I don't want them all to fall off. So that's those done. And I made this one a little bit longer, some of them a bit longer, so they kind of work together hopefully. So now I need to decide about here. So we want my Merry Christmas bauble, and I thought I'd just hang it off on there, but on one of these little hooks here. I think if I'm not careful it'd be too far over. Have it with the red underneath. So I'm thinking I should hang it off the red bow. I need to put another ring on here and a hole through my bow here. So let's just first of all put the hole in the bow. So we just popped it in the centre there, and then we'll put a ring through that one and put, whoops, it's just finding the hole. Oops. There we go. Just wasn't quite open wide enough. Oh, I've ripped it through. Okay, let's do it over just slightly. More trouble taking longer with this one than any of the others put together. Right, try again. Right, so that's one ring there. Now it's going to be slightly off to the side, but not to worry. I should have put this on before I did it up, not to worry. It's very glittery, this red, actually. The rest of them haven't been glittery, but that one is very glittery. And I think that would be enough rings. So that's 4 rings. We don't want it so low that it looks silly. So that's going to be up there. So let's get our glue and pop it on the back of our bow, and we want to make it nice and deep if possible. Okay, so then very carefully lifting that up and then holding this piece out of the way and positioning it, because then that allows you to position your bow correctly. Just pop that in place. There we go. And then we're going to get our gold bow and pop that over the top, but I don't need that as deep because we've already got the depth. I just want that to sit on top nicely. And just slightly offset it so we can see the red behind. So I'm going to go the other way so the ring looks like it's coming from the centre. There we go. I'm just wondering whether putting some of these white pieces in now would be effective. Just to kind of lift this up a little bit. I'm just adding bits because I'm just trying to make it a little bit more full. I'm just adding these little iridescent beads and they're so pretty. Maybe you can catch them, the light on them. They're just so pretty, and I just thought they might add a little something to it, just to again give this just a little lift. So that's all the little beads on there. I think that looks really pretty, and I think now just to finish off we'll put 3 just down in this corner. so. And then just one on the bottom here of our little bauble, just so that's joined in with the whole look. There we go. So I think we're done. So this is our finished card. So we've got this gorgeous shaker card inside. We've got, I'm going to be a bit careful, but we've got moving little ornaments on our tree branch here. We've got the beautiful, which you can't catch as well in the camera light, these beautiful iridescent rainbow pearls, and our lovely bauble ornament here. And then on the inside we've got the little decoration. Ooh, there we go. And it's going to stand up nice and firmly thanks to that extra card on the inside as well. So that's our finished card. So I hope you've enjoyed making this card with me, and I'd love to hear your comments, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.